Okay, next. This is going to be probably my favorite one to talk about because it's probably my favorite thing in Utopia. I love science. It's my favorite. Please don't judge me for what I'm doing. This is not standard. I'm not saying do what I do. You should probably go with something more standard, which is a higher amount of fun than the rest. I'm doing a little bit more balanced. Uh, yeah, but this is why I love it, because this is where I really want you to do what you want, to focus on the things that you like about this game. Are you a really big fan of thievery? Well, let's, get some extra science in arcane arts and pump that crime science to make your thievery more effective. Or magic, you can do the same thing with magic. Or you really want strong military numbers, pump those numbers. Or, econ is actually legit pretty fun. Having high econ it makes your province run so much more smoothly, and it affects everything, right? Building effectiveness will help your offense and defense as well, because forts and training grounds, right? Food and room production. The more you have of that, the less towers and farms you need, which means the more you can have of like military buildings. Same thing with income. You less banks and so on and so forth. Right? So economy is objectively like the best one. So even though I'm not necessarily showing that from my own personal sciences, definitely keep that in mind, that economy is just flat out good, right? And that there's a reason a majority of people run a higher number of economy. But a few things that I want to talk about this, and I do make mention of it here in the forums as well, in the science guide, right? There are a couple of, oh, there's another recruit. Active or hybrid. I mean, we need some. Yeah, let's. Okay, so there's a type of science that I like to call milestone science. You can read about it here. The main things you want to see are it's valor and artisan, right? So you go to sciences, and I actually calculated it. Now, I could be a little bit off. Let me look here. Yo, look at my science numbers. I love numbers. I'm analytical. Don't judge me. All right. So the main one. Oh wait, hold on. I wrote down specifically. All right. So the main ones that you want to look at for milestone sciences: artisan. This science right here. You don't really want to put stuff into this science until you're aiming to reach that mile, right? Now, the first milestone to have a reduction in your build time. So like normally your build, I think, takes 16 hours. Let me check. You know what? Let me not. That's gonna add too much. The point is, you can reduce your build time by an hour. As long as you have Builder's Boon cast, you get a reduction in time. I think it's 12 hours for build time with Builder's Boon. If you get this number here to 4.2%, then you now have an 11-hour build time. Now, to get to 4.2, you need about way less. Let's go with 20, 14, 15? Somewhere around 15 to 20,000, right? So I could probably go for that if I wanted to, right? Now, the one that I particularly like to reach is the next one, the next milestone, which is really cool. If you have Builder's Boon and when you go to growth, you can do a thing called accelerated growth by clicking this little check mark. It costs more, doubles the cost, but it doubles or decreases the time it takes to build by half. Or if you're just playing a dwarf, you automatically have that, basically. So the next milestone is reaching a 9% construction time reduction, and that is, I believe, 62,000 books to get that. So that's a big one because a 5-hour build time is pretty awesome. And then the reason why I feel like it's a big one is the next thing up costs a lot more. To get a 10-hour build time without a double cost, it takes like 100 and something thousand books, like 150,000, and it starts to get kind of like a lot of points to put into it to get faster build times. So I like to aim for the 62,000 books eventually, but the first milestone, I think it's like 15 to 20,000. Anyway, talked way too much about that. Next thing is Valor, right? This is military training time. Now, it also has Dragon Slaying Strength, which is really good. So this one you can be putting points into because it helps when to slay the dragons. So that's a good one to put points into anyway. But for training time, with Inspire Army, you have I believe, 19-hour training time instead of 24. Well, to get it down to 17, I might be wrong on these numbers. You need 3%. So right now I'm not quite at 3%. My military training time is currently 17 days. Okay, well, maybe it's not 3%. I guess 2% is enough to get a 17-hour training time. Okay, let's not go with these calculated numbers. Anyway, there's milestones, right? You can look. You can go to... Oh, you know why? Actually, I know why. Because training grounds also reduce your training. That's why it's 17 for me. It's not because of my son. But anyway, so I think it's right. But anyway, you want to reach probably like... Now I put it away. But you probably want to reach like a 15, 14-hour training time. That would be pretty cool. I don't know how many points anymore. I think it's 16. You can reach 9% training time with about 45,000 books. So there it is. That gives you a 16-hour, which is pretty nice. And that's not including... I think if you get to 14%, you can get it down to 15, minus 20, 14, and so on and so forth. All right, those are the only two milestone sites, right? That, because these numbers are discrete values. Discrete, D-I-S-C-R-E-T-E. Sneaky. Staircase, discrete. Yeah, so those are the only two where it's like, okay, if you have, for example, like the one with building time, if you needed 62,000 books. Well, if you have 61,000 books, you're not getting any benefit from that as opposed to like 15,000 books. So you hit 62,000 books, that's when you get that build time speed increase or whatever. So that's why it's a milestone. Now there is a secondary part that isn't. So you do still get like a decrease in cost. But that's just not really all that important. And then for this one, Dragon Slaying Strength is important. So this one you don't have to worry about so much reaching that specific value. The rest of the sciences are all fluid. Like they, even 1 point increases this by like 0.001 income, which I think is calculated into your actual income. So, those ones, have at it, have fun with it. You want to be, make more money, you want to have higher population, like so many things you could do with science. Read them, they say exactly what they do. It shouldn't be too hard to figure those things out. But yeah, that's it for science. I think this is the shortest one, and it's my favorite.